All right, boys, so we're all loaded up. Got the little aerial boom on the utility trailer back there. And now it's time to see how this is gonna work out. All right, so trailer is connected. Just gotta release the park brake. I'm gonna roll the windows up and turn on the air conditioning so that you can hear me a little bit better. So the first thing that I had to do this morning is I had to repair some trailer lighting issues on this F-250. see, my brain is still thinking half ton. Anyway, hooked this utility trailer or this equipment trailer up to the truck this morning, and none of the lights worked, and I got this message on the dash that said the trailer lighting module had a fault. So checked all the fuses, they were all good. Ended up pulling the connector on the bumper, pulled all that apart, cleaned it really good. And after we cleaned it really good, put dielectric grease back in there and all that, it started to work about 75% of the time. And then on the way up here to Frankfurt to pick this piece of equipment up, it started working 90% of the time. So I guess the ground connection through the trailer hitch, you know, maybe the ball was dirty or something and it wasn't getting a real good connection. So there was a couple of different issues there, all related to stuff being dirty. So cleaned all that up and now it's good to go. So first of all, I didn't get any video, but on the way here with the empty trailer, you hear guys say all the time that they forgot there was even a trailer behind them. Well, I can see where that comes from now, because you could easily forget that there's a trailer behind you with this truck. This is a 16-foot tandem axle utility trailer. I think my dad said that when he ordered this trailer years ago that he had them beef it up a little bit, put some extra cross members in it and stuff. So it might weigh 2,500 pounds maybe. You know, it's not a super heavy trailer, but when you hook this trailer up to a half-ton truck, you know, the last 28 years of my life I've been towing everything imaginable with half-ton trucks. You can tell this trailer's back there, because since the suspension is so soft that, you know, you get that bobbing up and down on your rear end and all that, you can definitely feel it. With this F-250, you could easily forget the trailer's even back there. I mean, it honestly, it really does, you know, just feel like it's not there. Now we got the aerial boom back there and I can tell that it's back there, but the truck is still handling it really, really well. So, you know, everything that people say about what a drastic difference it is going from a half ton to a heavy duty, you know, this is the first time that I've had a heavy duty truck, especially a heavy duty diesel truck. This is my first tow with a heavy duty diesel truck, and it is drastically different. Just the weight of the truck handles the trailer so much better. You know, not that a half-ton truck can't do it, because I've been doing stuff like this with my half-ton trucks for decades, but this truck is just so much more relaxed, so much more comfortable. It feels safer because the truck itself has so much weight to it that the trailer doesn't really have the ability to move it around like it would with a half-ton. You know, it's just the laws of physics. You know, weight and power are going to obviously handle a trailer a lot better. So this load right here, the boom and the trailer would have completely maxed out the ram. The rated capacity on that ram that I just got rid of was 8,200 pounds towing. This load would have completely maxed that out. May have even been just a little bit over. On this F-250, this is only about 55 or 60% of the rated trailer capacity. So I've got plenty of headroom, and again, you can really tell it. The other thing is, you know, the payload. You know, these trucks obviously have stiffer suspension under them, and when we hooked all this stuff up to this truck, now it sits level. Whereas on a half-ton truck, you know, all my half-ton trucks would kind of sag in the rear a little bit, which is why I always ran like some kind of overloads back there to help out. But this one, you hook something like this to it and it just sits level. So it's exactly, you know, what it's supposed to do. This truck is in its element doing this job, and it just feels so much better. And now that I'm towing, especially out here in traffic with this thing, I'm starting to wonder why it took me so long to get a heavy duty truck. I should have bought one of these years ago. I've always loved them. I've always drooled over them every time I see them, you know, guys out in town with them and stuff. Always wanted one. I don't know why I never bought one before. I guess I just didn't want to spend the money. You know, they are more expensive, especially if you get the diesel. The diesel's another $9 grand if you buy a new one, or actually if you buy a used one, it's, you know, you're still paying that $9 grand more. One way or the other, they're just more expensive. That's probably why I never did it. But got a red light here. I'm gonna see how this thing gets up to speed. I'm not gonna mash the throttle, of course, but oh yeah. Night and day difference. So this truck just got up to highway speed and I was probably not even half throttle. Tachometer never went above 2,000 RPM. That should be somewhere around 8,000 pounds back there hooked to the bumper. So again, we're not anywhere close to maxing this truck out, but it is a substantial load. It's not like we're pulling a lawnmower. I mean, we've got a load back there, and it just effortless. Man, that's a hard word to say. Effortlessly. You know what I'm saying? It was real easy to get up to speed. Wow. So yeah, drastic difference. So like I was saying in the other video the other day, for a daily driver, a commuter, you don't want something like this. It's hard to park, it's heavy, it's cumbersome and all that. It's gonna get on your nerves. But if you need to do jobs on the weekend like I do, or through the week, or whatever the case might be, if you need a truck to do some towing with, do some hauling with, get some work done with, there's just no substitute for a heavy duty truck. I can see what it's all about now. The other thing I noticed on the way to get this, I'm gonna set the cruise control here actually, to get this piece of equipment, was that this truck, this is a 6R140 truck. It would run in 6th gear, which is obviously a really tall overdrive gear. It ran in overdrive, even pulling the hills, it would stay in 6th gear all the way there. Well, now we've got this load on here and we're in 6th gear. I've got the cruise control set at 55 miles an hour because that's what the speed limit is out here on this 4-lane road. And it's running in 6th gear. We're pulling a slight grade here now. Let's see if it downshifts to 5th. Nope. It's pulling this hill at about 1,300 RPM in 6th gear with this 8,000 pound load behind it. Totally different experience. A half-ton gas truck is going to get the job done, but it's going to be down in 4th gear and it's going to be revving, running some serious RPM, burning some serious fuel. This truck right here just doesn't care there's a trailer behind it. It just flat doesn't care. It's just so relaxed. I can just sit here and cruise and overdrive. That's wild. Totally different experience. So I know it's kind of dark in here. I think we've got some, well, that didn't help any. Got some storms rolling in. Sky's getting dark. It's probably dark in the truck, but anyhow, my first tow with a heavy duty, and it's going really, really well. So I guess at this point, I'm going to stop this clip right here so I can keep an eye on my load and watch my straps and all that. And when I get where I'm going, we'll kind of wrap it up. And I'll show you this piece of equipment too while we're at it. This is a really neat looking little thing that's going to help me reach the top of my house safely without having to worry about falling off a ladder. So I'm going to show you this Nifty lift. This thing is pretty cool too. Be back in a little while. Made it back home. And like I said, the F-250 is just, it pulls like a freight train. It's amazing. It's amazing the difference between the half-ton truck and something like this. It towed so much easier, effortless. That's what I was trying to say earlier. Yeah, it just tows so easily. It handles these things just so much better. Like I said, safer, more comfortable, more relaxed. It's not a white knuckle experience towing with a truck like this. I absolutely love it. It's almost enjoyable towing something with a truck like this. I should have bought one a long time ago. But anyway, I got this nifty SD34T lift here, and I'm going to try and use it to get up there to the apex of the house. And on the other side, it's even taller because of the way the terrain lays. So this should be a whole lot safer than using a ladder. So let's get this thing off the trailer and see how it does. The main advantage to a machine like this is that the way that it's built makes it relatively lightweight compared to other 34-foot machines. And so what that means is you can use it at your house without destroying your yard. It's very maneuverable. You know, obviously you got outriggers there, so you can use it on terrain that's not perfectly flat. And you can just get it in places where you can't get other machines without tearing something up. So super nice little machine. I kind of wish I had one of these things. All right, time to try this thing out. I got my safety harness on here. I'm gonna latch that on right in front of me. Let's see what this little thing will do. Of course, I've never used one before, so I'm gonna be real slow on the controls so that I can make sure I know what I'm doing and I don't hit my house with it. Alright, so I'm a novice at this myself, but I think I'm starting to get the hang of this thing. So over here, of course, you've got your controls to start it. You got to turn this knob over here, and then here's your starter. Here's your min and max for your throttle. Here's your speed, turtle, and hare. And of course, you got a safety switch. So basically, this just controls turning the machine on and off and your speeds of your engine and your travel. And then here are your controls for your boom. Here are the controls for the outriggers. And this is the control for driving the machine. So you got forward, reverse, and then you can twist this left and right to steer it. So it's actually a pretty cool machine the way it's set up. Real slick, easy to learn for somebody who's never rented one of these things before. And so now I got one more corner of the house to do. I got to get up there and run some nails in that. Some of this fascia and soffit came loose in a storm. So what I'm basically doing is I bought some soffit nails, and I'm going along and I'm just putting more nails in, because up here on this hill we get a lot of wind, especially in the winter time. When it comes from the north, it blasts this side of the house with a lot of wind, and it tends to blow the trim off. So that's basically what I'm doing, just getting up there and putting more hardware in. So hopefully it won't come off this winter, because you know the wind is going to be kicking up. So let's oh, and then of course down there you've got a level. So you got to watch your levels down there when you're putting your outriggers down, and when you get these both level, then you can use the boom. So you got a foot control here that'll make the engine rev up, and then we can put the outriggers down. So you'll notice now, if I zoom in here, that both of my bubbles are in the level. They're not perfect, but they're close enough. Once you get the bubbles inside the lines like that, that's close enough, and then we can go ahead and boom up and get to work. So now we're gonna flip this switch right here, which goes from our outrigger controls to our boom controls. And now we can use these to operate the boom. Once you get to a certain point, the throttle eases up automatically, so you can go slower. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Really, really neat machine. And like I said, I much prefer using something like this rather than putting a ladder way up there, because I absolutely hate heights. I'm scared of heights, and I hate ladders. And the ground is uneven down here, so it's hard to get a ladder to stay straight unless you got the right equipment. I just don't like doing it as a homeowner, so renting something like this for the weekend for 275 bucks, peace of mind.